Hello, this is Mel Thompson, and this is a podcast and a series of podcasts about political risk. Today I'll be discussing poverty and the reduction of poverty and how that effort is not going as well as it probably should. The International Labor Organization is looking at the overall big picture as far as poverty reduction. The the organization, also known as ILO, has made an assessment, and they're basically saying that they're not doing what they should be doing when it comes to the overall reduction of poverty. When I say they, I mean the world, the global community. Poverty is something that can actually adversely impact production, productivity, create political risks that should not be there. And what's even more troubling is that as time goes by and technology has improved dramatically over the past 50 years or so, it's astounding we still have pockets of poverty as bad as they are. And the fact that we can't seem to do anything about that by raising income levels and improving healthcare and infrastructure is absolutely amazing. Amazing to the point that if you're looking to have a investment and have a return on that investment, you should be amazed that no one is looking into improving things in certain areas where you could actually put something new, important, and vital in that could help people and yourself financially. It's absolutely astounding. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal of ending poverty is in two forms, and they were looking to try to do this by 2030, or at least moderately decrease it by 2030. They're looking to spend $10 trillion, and the $10 trillion they're looking to spend needs to be applied very, very strategically in certain areas. However, it's also going to take private investment. In other words, foreign direct investors and companies need to get involved, and they need to start looking into areas that are dirt poor, for lack of a better term, right now, and they need to start being more proactive in these areas because they're going to get a return back in their investment. They're going to do something more important at the same time, which is help people to lift themselves out of poverty. Now, the World Employment Social Outlook of 2016, which is a report that the ILO put out, shows that work is pretty much the main thing that can fight poverty. It doesn't even try to escape that obvious fact. And if there are no opportunities, there is no work. Without work, there is no income. Without income, there is no possibility to improve the level of living and reduce poverty for people. The report has shown that poverty has declined to a certain degree in emerging and developing countries, but it's also tended to increase in a majority of other advanced economies. Look at some of the areas in the world right now that are considered advanced economies and look at some of the pockets of poverty in those countries, and you're absolutely wondering how can this be? Because the lack of infrastructure investment, the lack of investment in economic productivity, and increasing education for people is paramount, and these things are not being done. Now, this report also examines the types of jobs and incomes that the poor have pretty much come to rely upon just to survive day to day. And the types of jobs are very low key, very low level jobs that don't provide enough money. Foreign direct investment is the key to improving the lives of people in many countries where there's large pockets of poverty. It is also something that can be related to by a American citizen, a person who was born and raised in the U.S., a naturalized citizen. No matter how you're a citizen, you're or you live here, on a visa or whatever, if you live in the United States, you can understand this if you're of a certain age. When you hear the term enterprise zone, enterprise zones were areas, mainly in urban areas, that they were carved out. There were pockets of poverty in these areas, and they tried to create economic opportunity by investing in those areas and creating jobs. The same thing should be done when you start looking at a strategic outlook and a strategic plan for foreign direct investment in countries that are experiencing horrible levels of poverty. Enterprise zones in these countries can actually lower political risk, increase return on investment, and eventually eradicate poverty. And that should be a goal that, in its totality, given all three aspects, should be achievable and workable by the schedule that the UN has put forward, which is to end it or moderately curtail poverty by 2030. This has been Mel Thompson.